Howdy, folks.
Hey,
What's up?
we're back.
We're back at it again with another Final Fantasy game.
Oh yes.
And another episode of Infinite Fantasy, the show where we go through all the Final Fantasy media and rank them.
Yeah, this episode we got Final Fantasy Tactics.
Final Fantasy Tactics. It's a long game.
Oh, very long.
But a good one.
Oh yes.
Before we get into that, we got to do the news segment.
Yes.
It's been a very long time since we recorded because this game took a long time to play.
Yeah.
I think it's been since like January or something.
Oh, wow.
Since the last episode. So there's a lot of news. Let me pull up my news list.
Yeah. I know they announced a new mainline game, didn't they?
Yeah, well, they didn't announce it. They like put a trailer out.
Yeah.
So we'll go through all the stuff we have missed since January, basically, which is a lot of stuff. So, 25th anniversary of Final Fantasy VII.
Oh,
was
yeah.
in January.
That's true.
So big celebration for that.
Yeah.
20th. I guess I'll go through all the anniversaries. So yeah, Final Fantasy VII 25th. Final Fantasy 11 20th anniversary.
Oh, wow.
Apparently that game is still going and being updated because that's like one of the MMO ones and people are still playing it and things are still happening with it. It's crazy. What else? Oh yeah, and then Final Fantasy Tactics also had its 25th anniversary.
Oh yeah, that's
this
true.
Year. So it's the 25th anniversary celebration
Yeah.
right here. And then Kingdom Hearts had a 20th anniversary.
Oh yeah, that's wild.
Well, yeah, that's crazy. Because I remember playing that like the month it came out, basically.
Yeah, I was like a baby.
Yeah.
And I remember playing it.
But then all the other news we got, Kingdom Hearts games got released on Switch in February.
Oh yeah.
They're like, I think they're like cloud games that you have to like stream or whatever. But this seems good.
Yeah,
that's cool. Chocobo GP got released.
Hell yeah.
Heard it's not that good.
I'm still hyped about it.
Yeah. And it's also in it's in season 2 right now.
Oh.
I don't know what that means for that game.
I wonder if there's like a battle pass or something like that.
I have no idea.
That's weird.
Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin got released.
Oh yeah.
I've heard that one is good from some people. Some people say it's like okay, but I don't think anyone's ever said it's like horrible.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to get to that game.
Yeah.
That's cool. And then yeah, Kingdom Hearts had like a big anniversary event where they announced 2 new games. Again, I don't know if they're going to be Final Fantasy related at all. They're obviously a Square Enix game and they have been Final Fantasy related in the past.
Yeah.
But Kingdom Hearts 3 was not almost at all Final Fantasy related.
Definitely.
But they announced Missing Link, which is a mobile game that they didn't really show much about. Don't know really what it is. And then Kingdom Hearts 4 was announced with the trailer.
Yeah, that's
crazy. Looks great.
Yeah, it does look good.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it's going to take a good while.
Oh yes,
for it to come out, which is fine.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm hyped.
I wasn't even expecting them to announce it for
very
like
soon. Yeah,
for like a couple more years at least.
Right. And then what else we got? So yeah. We got the new trailer for Final Fantasy 16, which it looks good to me.
Yeah, it does look really good.
I'm excited for it. It looks like you get to have big, giant kaiju battles with the summons.
That's really
which they
nice.
call icons in this game.
Yeah, that's funny.
Then, I said Chocobo GP is in Season 2. Final Fantasy The First Soldier is in Season 3 right now.
Oh, wow.
It's been 3 seasons already.
Damn. That's the mobile?
Yeah, that's the mobile battle royale that we played like one time. Final Fantasy VII Intergrade, which is like the upgraded version of, or like the newer version of Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Oh, yeah.
That's on Steam now,
Nice.
so you can download that. And then they also announced a bunch of other Final Fantasy VII stuff at the anniversary event that they had. We got part 2 of Final Fantasy VII Remake was announced. It's going to be called Rebirth.
That's hype.
Yeah, it's hype.
Yeah.
They got Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, which is going to be a mobile game that like covers all of the story of the Final Fantasy VII universe, including like Crisis Core and like Dirge of Cerberus and stuff that. And then they announced a Crisis Core remake.
Oh wow!
Called Crisis Core Reunion.
Nice.
That's they're going to be coming out with. So that's exciting because I've never played that game, but I've heard good things.
Yeah, that is really cool.
I like Zach. Zach's cool.
Oh yeah, I like Zach.
Oh, and then the final piece of news is that Stranger of Paradise announced they're coming out with a DLC on the 20th of this month called Trials of the Dragon King.
Oh.
So they're coming out with stuff for that game. I'm excited to get to that, but that's going to be so far out.
They're coming out with so much stuff.
Yeah, it's so much. I mean, when you have 6 months in between episodes,
exactly, yeah,
then you're gonna have.
But it was a long game.
Yeah,
it was at least like 60 hours, I think.
I think so. Yeah. So let's get into the game.
Yeah,
Final Fantasy Tactics. It's the first like tactics based game in the series. So like that means there's like a grid map that you're moving your people around in and doing different like environmental things in.
Yeah, but cool. Yeah, it was really good. I liked I like those kinds of games. The only bad thing is that the random encounters take much longer.
Yeah, because in the regular Final Fantasy games, they would take like 30 seconds.
Yeah, but these they take about like
at least 10 minutes.
Yeah, 10 minutes. And it could be even longer if it's like like you get bad luck on like what monsters spawn or what the monsters do in general.
Sometimes they would like confuse all of our people and just like lock us out for like 10 turns while they're just like running around.
That's so annoying. But the story's really good.
Yeah, the story's really good. So let's go through the story. So to be fair, we had to read like summaries of the story after playing the game, just because, not that it's like not well told or anything. It's just we had so much time in between sessions that we like forgot a lot of stuff. And then also there's a lot of characters and a lot of factions and a lot of stuff going on. Like Final Fantasy VII and all the other mainline Final Fantasy games have a lot of story, but it's mainly like one plot. And in this game, there's like 4 different plots going on at once that you have to keep track of.
One thing I really do like about this game, though, is it's much more medieval than all the other ones. Yeah. Like all the way that everyone talks is like so old English, and it's really good. But sometimes it's really like confusing. Yeah,
it's like that. That's one thing I've heard people complain about with this game, because the original Final Fantasy we played the War of the Lions version for the PSP. And so the original version had like a bit more straightforward English translation. Yeah. And then for War of the Lions, they made it very, like poetic and old English and like Shakespearean kind of like talk, which I liked, but some people don't like online.
I think it's really cool.
I thought it added to the vibe very well.
Definitely.
So the story we have, there are a few different things going on. So let's start at the beginning. Before the beginning of the game, actually, was the 50 Years' War between Ivalice and some other country. I don't remember the name of the other country.
Yeah, I don't either.
So they were fighting. They had a big war about, like, stuff. Just a bunch of stuff happened there. Ivalice lost, I believe, and lost, like, some power, basically. So they're, like, not doing so hot at the moment. Then within Ivalice, you have 3 other factions. You have the Northern Sky, the Southern Sky, and then the Church of Glabados.
Yeah, that's what it is.
And then there's like a few other minor factions, like the Corpse Brigade is there. And the Corpse Brigade is like the main enemy in the beginning of the game. They are the soldiers that fought in the 50 Years' War. And since Ivalice lost, they like couldn't really pay the soldiers very well after the war. So those soldiers were like, fuck that. We're going to start our own coalition that's going to be like an anarchist, like we're going to take down the government and kill a bunch of people. I mean, so that's who the Corpse Brigade is.
Good on them.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotta get paid.
You gotta get that bag.
Yeah, for real. But yeah, so you start off, the main character's name's Ramza.
Yeah, Ramza Bolv.
Yeah, and I believe at the beginning, is the father already dead?
I think so. I think it starts with him being dead.
So and so now
the king is dead. The king of the Northern Sky.
Yeah, and you're one of his sons. And you have 2 older brothers, I believe.
Zalbog.
Zalbog, and then what?
Dysadarg.
Yeah, Dysadarg.
Yeah.
And so I believe Dysadarg is the one who becomes king.
Yeah. Or like in
power or whatever.
Yeah.
For like the Northern Sky or whatever. So I believe since like things aren't going too hot, in Ivalice, like people are thinking like another war's about to start.
Yeah,
and it is.
Yeah, the War of the Lions.
Yeah,
because that's what the Northern Sky and the Southern Sky, they were like known as like the Lions during the 50 Years' War or something like that. And so now the Northern Sky and the Southern Sky are fighting over who's going to rule Ivalice because the king died or whatever.
Yeah.
And they there's some like stuff going on with Ovelia. Like,
yes.
People think that she is the rightful heir to the throne, and Northern Sky doesn't want that to happen, so they try and kill her. But then Southern Sky does want her to be queen, so they enlist somebody who we'll talk about later to kidnap her and like bring them to the Southern Sky. So yeah, you're Ramza. You got a friend named Delita or Delita. I don't know how they pronounce it.
Yeah,
really.
I'm not sure.
I think it's Delita. He's just like a commoner guy. Like he's not like a royal person or anything. And he's got a sister named It starts
Tietra.
with Tietra. There it is.
Yeah.
So he's got a sister named Tietra. They're both commoners, but they're friends with Ramza, who's like a prince. And then some shit happens where Tietra gets kidnapped by, I think the Corpse Brigade kidnaps her because they think she's a royal person because she's hanging out with the prince. And so they kidnap her. Ramza and Delita go after them. And you join up with some guy named like, what's his name? He starts with like an A. Argath.
Yeah.
Who's like a soldier for the Northern Sky, I believe. And then you get to the Corpse Brigade. They have Tietra in their grasp, basically, and they're like holding her hostage. And then Argath shoots an arrow at the Corpse Brigade person, but it hits both that person and Tietra, killing both of them.
It's quite a scene, actually. Yeah, it's in like a little scene. Like clock tower area.
Oh, right. I forgot about that.
And then like right when the shot happens, like it just everything goes silent, like the music stops and everything.
So good.
Yeah.
So then Delita goes like ape on these boys, go crazy. He defects from the Northern Sky. He's like, I'm fucking out of here.
Yeah, fuck that.
And then even Ramza is like, this shit sucks. I don't like that you had to kill this person that was my friend. So then he also leaves the Northern Sky, and now he's just like a mercenary, like wandering the land. And so that's how I think that's how the game begins, because in the prologue you see Delita like off in the distance or something, and you're like, oh, he's still alive, because Ramza thought he died in the clock tower, because the clock tower like blows up at the end for some reason. But then you play chapter 1 is all that stuff, all the prologue stuff. Then you go to chapter 2. Ramza's met up with a bunch of people like Agrius, Mustadio.
I believe Mustadio's the one
machinist. He's got a gun.
Yeah, and I think he's the one that tells Ramza about the Zodiac stones. I'm pretty sure he has one. I'm not exactly sure which one.
Yeah, but you know his dad is researching them. Besruda. I think his name is.
And so eventually, like while Ramza's learning more about the stones, they learn that originally, to start the 50 Years' War, the church actually had all of the Zodiac stones, and
they had people who guarded them called the Zodiac Braves.
Yeah. And basically, like, church is doing some whack business.
Some whack business.
And Ramza's not having it.
No. And so you start to like uncover plots from these people. You join up with a guy named Gafgarian, who I don't remember who he's affiliated with. Let me see if I can find that. It might be just the Northern Sky, or maybe not actually, because you've defected from the Northern Sky at this point. So he's affiliated with the Eastern Sky, apparently, according to the wiki. And then he was a former division commander of the Eastern Sky, and he's a mercenary under the service of the Order of the Northern Sky. So he's like a guy that you join up with a little bit. He turns out to be evil.
Yeah.
He turns out that he was hired by Dysadarg to like follow you, and he's also like affiliated with the church, with the Cardinal Delacroix.
Oh, bad man.
Yeah, bad man. So it turns out what is going on with the church is they got these Zodiac stones. These Zodiac stones are connected to like demons called oh fuck, what are they called?
I know, I can't remember.
There's so much words
common nouns.
Yeah, proper nouns.
Or proper nouns, that's what it
Lucavi.
is. Yeah, Lucavi.
So there are these demons called Lucavi that are attached to these zodiac stones that need like a human host to come into the earth. So the Zodiac Braves have the stones, they become the Lucavi when the stones are like activated.
And they're basically like just the bosses.
Yeah, the main bosses of the game.
But yeah, so like every time you fight someone who has a Zodiac stone, usually you fight them in their like human form, and then once you kill them, they like something activates in the stone, and then they turn into one of the Lucavi, and it's always some big crazy monster looking thing.
And then, so what you discover, so you fight Gafgarian, he's dead, whatever. That's some stuff. You find these books called the Scriptures of Germonique or something like that.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And this is basically like a book that's like, we're going to expose all the church's secrets.
Yeah.
Some guy wrote this like forever ago talking about the church, and the church has been trying to hide it forever because it's like damning to them. I think, so I might be wrong about this. You can correct me in the comments or whatever. But I think what the stuff about Germonique is, because I read this like a few days ago, so I'm trying to remember it. The Church of Glabados kidnapped a child who they claim to be Saint Ajora. Saint Ajora is like the leader of the Lucavi, basically, or something. They believed it was Saint Ajora who was like their god, basically. They kidnapped this kid, and they're like, we're going to raise you to be the vessel for Saint Ajora or whatever. And the articles or the Scriptures of Germonique basically say like, this kid was just a kid, and they were kidnapped by the church and enslaved, and like this kid was not special, they were not connected to Saint Ajora at all. The church just kidnapped a random child and held them in slavery for years because they believed it was their god. And so the church obviously is like, yeah, we can't have that.
Yeah, like
we can't have people reading that.
Yeah, that's some drama for sure.
Yeah. So you're trying to expose the church. You're also trying to find out the secrets of the Zodiac Stones. And then you're also trying to fight off shit from your brother, Daisadar.
Yeah,
he's doing some shit.
Yeah,
also.
he's because he's involved with the church.
Yeah, he's involved with the church. He has like this vast conspiracy to become king. Like he wants to become king. You find out at some point in the game that he poisoned your father with mushrooms. These like specific mushrooms.
I forget what they're called.
Like moss.
Yeah, moss fungus.
Moss fungus, I think. Yeah. And so it's a like slow acting poison that is hardly like perceptible. Like you have to give them like a bunch of it to kill them.
But it like stays in your system. So like over time, if you just like slowly feed someone more and more of it, like for every meal, like they'll eventually like succumb to it.
Yeah. And then someone tells they're talking to Daisadarg about this, like trying to like get him to confess, and they're like, well, they say that at the grave of someone who was poisoned with the moss fungus, like mushrooms will grow there. And the camera turns and shows that Zalbag was like listening in on the conversation. And he goes to his father's grave with like some guy who's like an herbalist. He's like, check out this mushroom. What's this mushroom? And he's like, oh, it's a moss fungus mushroom. So he's like,
damn.
My brother killed my dad.
It'd be like that.
And then he goes to Daisadarg. He's like, why'd you do that shit? Daisadarg is like,
you're lying.
I stab you now. Or whatever he does.
At first he's like, you're full of shit. I didn't do that. And then he's like, yeah, you're right. I did that.
You're going to die. And also I'm going to turn you into like a zombie.
Yeah, like a zombie puppet kind of thing.
So that shit happens. Delita is also going around doing some shit. So he is hired by the Southern Sky to kidnap Ovelia, who's like a princess who people think is like rightful heir to the throne.
Yep.
Turns out she's not. She's just a person.
She's just a random girl.
And the actual heir to the throne died when she was like a very small child. So they've been like pretending she is actually Princess Ovelia, but she's just like a kid.
She still thought she was Princess Ovelia. So like it was news to her when I believe Delita was the one to tell her that she's not really the princess, but she was definitely like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like I'm just some girl, but they're still trying to kill me.
But then Delita like kind of falls in love with her a little bit or is trying to use her. So what Delita wants, basically, he wants to like burn it all down. Yeah. He's like, we got to start this over. get rid of the Southern Sky and the Northern Sky, get rid of the church. We're just going to do our own new stuff, and I'm going to be the king also. Yep. So that's his goal. And that's why he's kind of with Ovelia, because he's like, well, I need a queen.
Yeah, just trying to protect her.
Yeah. So you, throughout this, you're going to get the Zodiac stones.
I believe we get to the church.
Yeah.
And we have a tussle with Cardinal Delacroix. And then he actually has a stone, and he turns himself into a Lucavi.
Yeah, I don't remember which one.
Yeah, we beat him up, get the stone, move on to the next one.
Yeah. At
this point, probably got like 4 or 5 stones.
Yeah, because there are some other people who aren't Zodiac Braves who like have them because they were passed down to them.
Yeah, there's lots of side missions that you get stones too.
Yeah. And so you meet up with a guy, you meet a guy named Fulmarv, who is also working with the church, is a Zodiac Brave, and he's kind of like leading the Zodiac Braves at this point. Mm-hmm. And he's like a major villain throughout the game. You're chasing him around. He's like sending the other Lucavi after you and things like that. Mm-hmm. And they are trying to find the Necro Hole, where I don't remember what's there, but it's something they need to be able to summon Saint Ajora.
Yeah. And so they're taking who is it? His sister there?
Yeah, Alma.
Alma, yeah.
So Alma is the sister of Ramza, Daisadarg, and Zalbag, who now the church believes is like the ideal vessel for Saint Ajora.
Yeah.
They've like determined it out of all the other children in the world that like this the one that's gonna do it.
And so they're taking her to the Necro Hole.
Yeah, so that's another like motivation why Ramza is going after them too, is because his sister is there.
Yeah.
So they go in the Necro Hole. It's like a spooky dungeon that they head into. Mm-hmm. You go down all the floors, fight a bunch of Lucavi throughout, and then you get to the final floor, which is a airship graveyard.
Yeah, it's a really cool looking map.
Yeah. And then they finally summon Saint Ajora through Alma, but Alma survives.
Yeah.
She like gets separated from Saint Ajora. Mm-hmm. And then you have a big fight against Saint Ajora, who turns out to be the ultimate Lucavi named Ultima.
Yeah. And that's a cool sprite when it like it's
sick.
Final form where it looks like a puppet or something.
Yeah, like a big like skeletal puppet.
Yeah, it was really cool looking.
Then you beat Ultima, obviously. You have this big crazy fight. It was really good. Oh, I forgot to mention also, you meet up with some guy. I don't remember what his deal is.
Oh yeah.
His name is, oh my god,
Orlando. Or Sid Orlando.
Sid Orlando, yeah. Sidolphus Orlando.
Yeah.
Is his name, but he's the Sid of this game. Mm-hmm. I'm having internet issues, so I'm trying to find that, but anyway, you got Sid Orlando. Mm-hmm. He's a sword saint, so I think he's connected to the church perhaps in some way, but not in like, he's not an evil guy.
Yeah. He's actually really strong. He was probably our best.
He's the best character in the entire game.
Yeah, he was our best party member by far.
Okay, so he's a general with the Southern Sky.
Okay.
And he, and Southern Sky is ruled by Duke Goltana, who's this other guy, who's a character. But yeah, he's a part of the Southern Sky, and he like joins you towards the end of the game. And yeah, he's the best character in the whole game.
Oh yeah, so good.
So yeah, you beat Ultima.
And everything blows the fuck up.
Yeah, everything blows up. People think Ramza and Alma are dead. And they have like a funeral for them and stuff. And then Orin, who is Sid's son, who is also a character you meet along the way. He's just kind of like a guy.
Yeah.
He goes to the grave and he's like, shit, I can't believe you guys died. That's so sad. But then Ramza and Alma ride by on chocobos, and he's like, oh shit, they're still alive.
Yeah, he's like, hell yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
And then we see that Delita's king and married Ovelia, and so she's queen now.
Yeah.
But then she finds out that Ramza and all of them are dead.
Yeah, and she's like, you used him to further your own goals.
Yeah, and so she tries to beat him up. And then Delita stabs her.
Yep.
And I'm guessing she dies.
Yeah.
But and that's just the end.
Yeah. It just ends on that, a very sad ending.
Yeah.
But a great game.
Oh, such a good game.
And then we haven't even talked about the gameplay either, which is, job based, tactics based. The job system's so good.
Yeah, because you get to level up your jobs, and when you level up certain, it's not like you like acquire a new job just from beating like a dungeon or something. It's like you have to level up certain jobs to be able to unlock other jobs, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, and like some of them require multiple jobs. There were some we didn't even unlock because like the Dark Knight, you have to master like 2 jobs and then get level 8 and like 4 other jobs.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's like some really cool stuff in there. Let me pull up a list of the jobs and we'll just go through them and like see which ones we like the best. But
definitely my favorite job, you'll probably agree, was Orator.
Orator. Yeah. So that was one that like we didn't understand at first, so we didn't really have anybody do that. But then we started using it more.
And it's probably the best in the game.
It's definitely the best. Especially because we were playing on an emulator so we could have save states.
Yeah.
But like basically what the Orator does is it can talk to people and add different statuses on people. So you can add like, you can make a negative to their strength or negative to their magic or boost your people by talking to them. But the best one was Entice.
Yeah, and it just gets them on your side.
Yeah, it casts the trader status on them. But it has like a low percentage to hit, but sometimes like it's only like 25%, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
And then you just have like 2 of the enemies on your side now.
Yeah, and that really helps a lot.
Yeah, we got Squire. That's the base class. Pretty good. Chemist was good because you can like throw items at people.
That was
like
good.
Throw a potion. Knight, just another classic like sword person. Archer was great too. We had an archer for a while.
Oh yeah, I always thought that like any of the long ranged jobs were like
the best.
Yeah, the best, most overpowered for sure.
Yeah, because if you got to get in there melee, then you're gonna get hit for sure.
Yeah.
But the ranged people and the Orator, again, a ranged character.
Yeah, he's got a
gun.
That's always nice.
Great. We got White Mage, Black Mage, some classics. Monk, which was also one we like brought to the end of the game.
Yeah,
that's who Ramza was like the whole time. Because you can be bare-fisted and you get like a bonus for not having any weapons.
And there's a lot of cool like specific monk abilities.
Yeah, like the like Aura Blast and things like that.
And there's like Shockwave, Pummel. I'm pretty sure there's one that like gives you health too.
Yeah, Chakra gives you health. Yeah. We got a Thief, which we didn't use that much. Mystic, which we also didn't use all that much, but it was like required to unlock some other jobs.
Yeah.
Time Mage, which we used like early on. That obviously you get like haste and stuff like that. Geomancer, another classic, like use the terrain to attack.
Yeah, that one was pretty cool. I like that because this game is like about the whole battlefield.
Yeah.
So like I thought that was a pretty cool job to have in this game.
Yeah, definitely. Then you got Dragoon, which we also brought to the end of the game.
Classic.
A classic one. Orator, we already talked about. Summoner, which we tried to like get every summoner.
Oh yeah, we didn't get all of them.
Yeah, there were like 3 that we didn't get.
Yeah.
But another great class, but has like low health, so that person just died all the time.
Yeah, for real.
Samurai, we used a little bit. They have some
like,
good like defensive abilities.
Yeah, and they like don't they throw stuff too?
No,
that's
they
ninjas.
Ninjas, which is the next one. We got Arithmetician, which we didn't use all that much, but our friend Sean, who is on the Final Fantasy VI episode, he says he likes to use that in Final Fantasy Tactics because it's like based on the enemy's level, you can do different like spells on them based on their level. We got Dancer, we didn't unlock because we had our like one of our female characters just being like the summoner the whole time, so we wanted to get all the summons. We got Bard, which we unlocked, which was okay. Like you just cast like statuses on your own people. Mime we didn't unlock. Dark Knight we didn't unlock.
We tried.
Yeah, we tried so hard.
We got pretty far.
The last one was Onion Knight, which we did unlock. Which doesn't have any abilities, but can equip any equipment in the entire game,
which is pretty
cool. But yeah, what you can do with these jobs is you have one innate ability that is like, you get the knight abilities if you have the knight, and then you can equip a second ability from another job that you've had before. So you can bring other abilities through with you. Like if you were a white mage at some point, you could be a knight who can cast white magic.
Yeah, or like say you're like a ninja, but you could also be an orator.
Yeah,
and stuff like that. Like that was probably my favorite part. Like it made it like basically everyone gets 2 jobs.
Yeah, which is really cool. And then You have reaction abilities where like an enemy hits you, you can activate some reaction.
Yeah, and hit back or heal yourself or cast another spell on yourself.
Then you have the persistent abilities, which are just like equip axes, or like we had like JP boost, where you get more job points in every fight. And then the last one was the movement, where you can get like +1 move or life font.
Or like ignore elevation.
Yeah,
that one was
ignore
cool.
elevation is great. Yeah, life font was classic because you heal as you move.
Yeah, that one was really helpful.
Yeah. So this game, there's so much stuff to do. There's so much customization with your characters. You can like do a lot of stuff and have a lot of different like builds in this game, definitely. Which I really like.
Like we could totally play this game again and like play it completely different.
Yeah.
Another thing I really liked was there was a lot of like side missions. We didn't even do all the side missions, but some of like the notable ones I liked were one time we got a Zodiac Stone from a side mission, and then we took it to Mustadio's dad.
Yeah, because
he's working on like some machine.
Yeah.
And it popped out a robot named Construct 8, and he was like our best character for like the middle portion of the game. That was really fun. And then another side quest for the same people. You bring another Zodiac Stone, and somehow Cloud gets from Final Fantasy VII gets transported to Ivalice.
Yeah, like he falls through like a rift or something.
Yeah. And there is like a flower girl.
Yeah, that you meet before this quest happens.
Yeah, and so you go back to where the flower girl's at, and like there's a little cutscene where like Cloud thinks it's Aerith.
Yeah.
But then it turns out it is Aerith.
Yeah.
And then like there are some people trying to capture her and stuff, and so you beat them up. And then I think there was another thing to do at the end of the quest, but it was just you get Cloud in your party
as a party member,
and then the next thing to do is just get his Buster Sword. But I don't think we did that.
Yeah, I don't think so. Just because we were like at the very end of the game, and we were like, I don't think we're gonna use Cloud because he also starts level 1.
Yeah, too. And we're like level 50 at this point. But I did think that was cool.
Yeah, and then there was also. Who's the other guy? There was a character from Final Fantasy 12 that you also get.
I forget what his name is, but he's a Sky Pirate.
Yeah,
I know that.
Sky Pirate. So that's kind of cool because this is the War of the Lions version.
Mm-hmm.
And this was made, I think, like concurrently with Final Fantasy 12 because a lot of the same people who worked on Final Fantasy 12 worked on the War of the Lions version.
Mm-hmm.
So you unlock. Oh my God, who's this person? Balthier is his name. Yeah. You unlock him. There's also another character that I think is also from another game. Let me find that. Yeah, Luso is from another Tactics game. He was from Tactics Advance 2.
Oh yeah.
And you can also unlock Luso in this game. So all those are cool.
Oh yeah, he's like the Beast Tamer guy.
Yeah, Beast guy.
Okay, I remember him.
So that's cool. Also, again, some of this stuff would be cooler if we knew these games, but obviously we're playing them in a weird order because we're playing like the HD versions of the release order games. Whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
But a very cool game.
Great game. I loved it.
Really loved it. It took a long time. I think it's the longest game that we've played.
Yeah.
Like, we played like 50 hours or 60 hours or something.
But yeah, it was
great. I really liked it. I was a big fan.
Yeah. Oh.
So before we rank, though, there's a few other things we forgot to talk about. So there's a few like things we didn't do. There were errands, which you can send like people in your party that you're not using. You can send them off to do errands. All they really do is get you money. We did not have a need for more money in this game.
Yeah, you get a lot of
so much money.
We tried to do some, but like I think the first one we like. When the person came back from the errand, like it just didn't work.
Yeah, they were like, we didn't get anything.
Yeah,
and it's like, oh, okay.
So we were like, okay, let's just not do this.
Yeah, and we didn't end up needing the extra money anyway, so it doesn't matter. There was also the rendezvous mode, which is multiplayer mode in the PSP,
which is really cool.
Yeah, but we weren't able to try it because we were just playing on single player.
Yeah.
What else? Did we forget?
And then there's an optional dungeon.
Oh, yes. It's not like an end game dungeon because you can do it before the final boss.
Yeah.
But it is like a new dungeon for War of the Lions, I believe, called the Midlight's Deep.
Yeah, so it's 10 floors, and each floor is like pitch black.
Yeah.
And basically, you have to find a space on the board that is like the exit space.
And you have to do it before you kill all of the enemies.
Yeah, otherwise, if you kill all the enemies and don't find the exit, then it'll bring you back to the overworld, and you'll have to redo that floor. But if you find the exit and then beat it, it'll take you back to the overworld anyway. And then
you can go to the next floor.
Yeah, you can go to the next floor.
We ended up doing like...
just the first
two.
Yeah.
Here's my thing about these. The Final Fantasy games so far, they're like, oh, we have this HD or like updated version of the game. We're going to add like a new dungeon.
Yeah.
And they're always like, oh, we're going to give the dungeon some gimmick. And people are going to be like, wow, that's really cool. But to me, I'm just like, it's annoying.
Yeah. Like you never had this like this idea in the game anywhere else.
Yeah.
And now you're doing it for like an expansion part, and it doesn't work.
Yeah, because I think even like in the Final Fantasy 1, like the Game Boy Advance version of the Final Fantasy 1, there's like an extra dungeon where it's like randomized every time.
Oh yeah.
And like you have to like also find an exit in it, and it's like, I don't want to do this. This is annoying to me.
Yeah.
And so same with Midlight's Deep, it's just like it's annoying to have to find the exit. And the walkthroughs we were looking at were like, there's 5 possible places on every map it could be, so you have to go to every individual spot that we mark on the map,
and that's
to
annoying.
look for it. Yeah.
So we only did a couple floors, but like,
and the only thing you get out of it, I looked it up, is you get an extra character at the end of the game named Biblos. He looks like a big there's like enemies called Reavers in the game that he looks like.
Oh yeah.
Apparently he's not that good though. Some people say he's not a good character. So
well,
but that's what you get.
Yeah.
For it. Oh, but anyway, I think that's all.
Yeah.
I think we covered most of it. We might have missed some stuff, but let's rank this bad boy.
Let's rank it.
Where's my list? All right, so we're gonna go first. Most enjoyable. I liked this game a lot. Let's see. It's definitely above the Legend games. Definitely above like Mystic Quest, above Adventure, above first Final Fantasy. Yes.
The book.
Yeah, the book definitely.
Yep. Second one.
Definitely.
Yes.
3. Yes.
Yes. 4.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
5. Ooh, now here's where it gets tricky.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say yes, because I think the reason we liked 5 so much was the job system, and I think the job system's better in this game.
So do I, but I don't think
Final Fantasy 6.
I don't know if it's better than 6. Because I think I would definitely rather replay 6 than this one.
You're right. Yeah. So I think that's where we're gonna put it. So Final Fantasy Tactics is the 3rd most enjoyable Final Fantasy game at the moment. Now let's move on to most Final Fantasy.
Ooh,
so this one I think is going to be interesting.
Yeah, so do I.
So I think let's just start like in the middle. Like, is it more Final Fantasy than Final Fantasy 7? Yeah, I think so.
Oh yes, definitely.
Final Fantasy 4? Yeah.
Yes.
More Final Fantasy than Final Fantasy 3? Yes.
Yes.
More Final Fantasy than Final Fantasy 5? I'd say yeah.
Yeah?
Is it more Final Fantasy even than Final Fantasy 6? Think about this.
Yeah, I know.
This is a tough one. Because it's different from turn-based, but I don't know if that's like inherently like a Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Like it is. Obviously they moved past it eventually. Yeah. It's got like a lot of the weapons. Like we didn't get a lot of the weapons, but you can steal weapons from enemies, and there's all the classics like Yoichipo and Excalibur, Ragnarok, stuff like that.
We got Sid, we got Chocobos, we got
airship at the end.
Airship, yep.
Crystals.
They even got Marlboros.
Yeah, Marlboros. You got all the classic summons in the game.
Even some new summons too that have never. They haven't been in any of them up to this point. I think there's like Lich.
Yeah, Lich.
And like Salamander.
Yeah, which I don't think we've seen in other games.
Yeah, and then I think there's one more like Cyclops, but I don't think we got that one.
Yeah. So
yeah, I don't know.
I have no idea. This is tough. So let's talk about what we thought made Final Fantasy VI the most Final Fantasy game. So great characters, great story.
Yeah.
Like interesting plot weaving. Cool classes, cool gameplay.
I see. I think it's that Tactics is not more Final Fantasy than 6 because I think with tactics, like there's a lot of plot flow throughout like different storylines, but we got very confused by it, and I don't think we got as confused by it as 6.
Oh yeah,
like I think it definitely did that story way better. And like Final Fantasy is about fighting, but it is mostly about story.
Yeah,
and I think they did that story very well. And like again, it had like the medieval aspect, it had the futuristic aspect. And like there wasn't too much futuristic stuff in Tactics. Like they had robots,
but they were like old timey like robots too. So like,
and like besides robots, they had like guns.
Yeah,
and like guns nowadays aren't super old. Like,
true,
or they're not super new anymore. So I think personally, it's got to be number 2 for me.
I think that's true. Yeah, I think that's fair. I think there is a case to be made that it is the most Final Fantasy game, but I think I agree that I think 6 should be at the top, at least in this matchup. So we're going to put Final Fantasy Tactics at the number 2 most Final Fantasy game, which is still crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. I think if they mixed 6 and Tactics, that would be great.
Oh, yeah.
They would make a great game
sick
with that.
But that's all.
Yeah.
And next up, we're going to be playing Chocobo no Fushigi na Dungeon.
Yeah.
Chocobo's Mysterious Dungeon. It's a Japanese-only Chocobo game. We found an English patch of it.
Yep.
That I said patch for some reason. Patch of it that a fan made. So we're going to be playing that. We're going to check it out. I have no idea what the game is. We played like 10 minutes of it last night.
It looks fun. It looks pretty cute.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about it, and it'll be good, hopefully.
Yeah, I hope so.
But talk to you next time. See ya.